say, sir. Viewers, if you are watching, click on the like button, drop your comment, and also make sure you share this program to others. Subscribe if you have not done so. Tinubu will lose 2027 election if he releases Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. This statement is believed to be credited to the recent governor that just defected to APC, Governor of Enugu State, Peter Mbah. What do you have to say about it?
We saw the recent development currently going on now, more especially with the national call for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And we have seen the more there is a push for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's release, the more we are seeing uncredited statements coming from the entire Igbo leaders. We saw what is actually going on currently now in Enugu. The Enugu State Governor, Peter Mbah, has decamped. And Odzo Kalu came. As you watch at the background of the video, you saw Odzo Kalu making unnecessary statements about the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Umahi and the rest of them, these are Igbo leaders who are involved, political leaders who are involved in this current, APC ruling, party, and that sends a very bad picture of what has Igbo leaders has become in this era currently now compared to what we used to have before as Igbo leaders, the likes of, Chobo Kadibo, the likes of, Odmego Juku, the likes of, so many of them, so it surprises a lot of people that this development has come to a point where it has become, a very big embarrassment to the people of that Igbo extraction. Yes, we have seen reactions coming from the federal government themselves, Bayo Nonuga and the rest of them making a statement concerning Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's agitation, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's popularity, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's quest for being left off the hook because his continued detention in DSS custody has triggered a national discourse at this very particular moment. Let us take it clearly here that the governor of Enugu State has decamped. We have seen more Eastern political leaders moving to APC. But let me just say that a statement that was credited to Peter Mbah, the governor of Enugu State, he clearly stated that that he's going to Aso Rock so that the Igbo voice can be heard at the center. That's quite an embarrassing statement from a leader like that, making that kind of statement. That gives you a clear picture of what one becomes in Nigeria as a child. When you are in Nigeria as a child, especially from Igbo extraction, of what future do you actually have in Nigeria when leaders like this started making a statement? They lost confidence, they lost ideology, they have seen that they are politically being conquered. What is heading to South East currently now politically is total conquest. Politically, yes, total political conquest in all ramifications. There's no justification for that, because they keep on throwing up these excuses, just to align with their selfish interest. But let us come to reality. What is it actually that the Igbo leaders are looking for at this point in time, apart from making sure that whatever that is holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, has become a taboo, has become something that will never be celebrated by this generation concerning the kind of political leaders they have. If Igbo leaders have lost the culture and tradition of being Igbo, they have actually embraced conquest. What is coming to East, at this point in time, is the reason why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is still in detention. Yes, they have taken it upon themselves. Sowore has taken to lead a certain protest or rally, or national call for a man that have not committed any crime that have been kept in custody. So these Igbo leaders presently now are not looking for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's release. They are just making an embarrassing statement over how they are going to, line up their pockets, enrich themselves at the end of the day and pretend they are fighting an Igbo cause. They are not fighting for any Igbo cause. And I give you an instances to that. If they come out and say that releasing of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will now make Bola Ahmed Tinubu not to win 2027 election, and that's the reason why they are not going to add their voice to the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that is a very devastating and unbelievable statement. statement calling from these people. They call themselves Igbo leaders. But let us look inwards and understand why are we now experiencing, this political conquest coming from the APC and a party that has been labeled as a terrorist, organization. Now they are being built on this thing under the political interest, where they find their interest, but they are not actually, protecting the interest of the people. The Igbo region currently now is under serious conquest. I can tell you, political conquest, and that is going to open up more infiltration, of jihad, political jihad in the southeast. Nnamdi Kanu must not be allowed, in whatever happens, to remain in DSS custody. The reason is why, there's no court of competent jurisdiction that have found Nnamdi Kanu guilty. Still, he has spent over 2,000 days in DSS custody. And up to this very moment, the whole body of Igbo extraction had deemed it fit to stand up against the injustice that's happening, in all ramifications in the Igbo land now, currently now. We're not talking about the demolitions that is going on of Igbo properties in Lagos. We are talking about, bringing a political conquest, and that is a very devastating one for a lot of people, all over the world. But the fact still remains that, at this point in time, I don't want to say that we have lost the political class to Fulani agenda. Honestly, I can tell you that with what is going on, because we have seen these governors have not been able, to stand up for the reality on ground. They are only interested on how they are going to, continue to line up and use and continue to use a certain influence and to continue to oppress and suppress the people. Nobody will tell me that this present administration under APC government, that the Igbo nation has not been marginalized. And it's quite embarrassing, that the Igbo influence and the Igbo strength and, the Igbo Republican spirit are dwindling on daily basis because there's no commanding voice, there's no control voice, that's being heard anywhere now, because most of these resistant voices now, most of them are either in custody, or being, shut down completely, and this is quite a sign that things are getting deeper and deeper and deeper into the Igbo surrounding. And look at what is happening in Okigwe now. We know very clearly that Okigwe Olu Aziz, people might not understand that those who created the crisis there don't create that crisis for just no reason. It was a federal government-led conspiracy, to make sure that what they are looking for in that state, they're able to get it, especially when it comes to the gas in Imo State. They have to create problem there and make sure that they thoroughly conquer that Imo State completely, with the hope of Uzodimma and the rest of them, so that they'll be able to start extracting the gas there without any opposition, without any resistance, and that is why there is constant, build-up of security challenges in Imo State currently now. Well, if that's what they make out of it, that Nnamdi Kanu must continue to be in detention just to make sure that Bola Ahmed Tinubu, wins that 2027 election. The question now is that is Nnamdi Kanu really an obstacle to Bola Ahmed Tinubu in winning that election? Yes, a lot of people might say yes, a lot of people might say no, but I want to know your reactions to that. Without Nnamdi Kanu's freedom, Tinubu will not win a 2027 election. And then the question is it for the South, East, South, or entire Southwest? Or Nnamdi Kanu has become, a political influence, culturally and traditionally in all ramifications within the Nigerian context, where anything he says, goes across beyond the old Eastern Bloc or Eastern region, down to Southwest. He has a certain influence, and that is why this understanding, that this conspiracy that Nnamdi Kanu will not be released. On this process of trying to say this, where Igbo leaders are saying Nnamdi Kanu will not be released because they don't want Bola Ahmed Tinubu to lose election, then how will you now justify this in the midst of injustice? Is it all about what the Igbo leader can come up with at the end of the day, that there's no how Nnamdi Kanu will be released, and that his release will jeopardize re-election, then Nnamdi Kanu is going to suffer the consequences of what he doesn't know. The consequences of political, embarrassment and conquest of the people of that region. I do not know how to put this there, but it is something that the whole world need to look into in solidarity for what is happening. It might look to a national, rebate at the end of the day if what we are hearing, if what we are seeing has finally become a reality, that Nnamdi Kanu will be kept in DSS custody until after 2027, possibly 2031, where another Fulani man will emerge as the president of Nigeria, and then we will continue from there. But that will not be possible because there's a limit where you can push the people to the wall, and they will turn back and question the reason why they have been kept suppressed and oppressed. Well, I can give you instances of so many things like that. The Igbo strength seems to be calm. The Igbo crowd seems to be calm, because it's possible that if the extent of which they can go. I don't want to make references to what Danjuma and Obasanjo has been saying concerning Nnamdi Kanu and the Igbo nation, standing up, and when they decide that enough is enough, imagine what will become at the end of the day. Bola Tinubu should consider this as whatever alliance is having in this regard, political alliance with the North to infiltrate the entire eastern Nigeria, and this thing has been already planned out, and it looks like it is going to create an opening for infiltration of the jihadis, because politically, because nobody can stand up and resist them, and those resistance voices can never be heard again until Nnamdi Kanu is finally gets his freedom. As the government themselves continue to mobilize against the United States proclamation that that Christians are being killed in Nigeria. Let us see what will become of it at the end of the day. But the question is this, that the ongoing protest is seeking for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, or whether they are going to block it or not, whether it's going to make an impact or not. But the world is going to hear a certain voice that a man, an innocent person, is being languishing in DSS custody, even after a court of competent jurisdiction have orders for his release. The lawyers, the Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers, have made it very clearly. I think it is better, we'll stop further, agitation for Nnamdi Kanu continuous court trial, because in the first place, he does not supposed to be tried in any court of competent jurisdiction. What is happening in Kenya presently testifies to that William Ruto have taken it upon himself to write to the ICC over how the kidnap took place in Kenya, with the Nigerian officials bribing some Kenyan political officials and security agencies, to carry out that dastardly act against Nnamdi Kanu. The Igbo nation will be liberated. That's the message. Whatever you like it or not, and that is where we are currently heading to. If Nnamdi Kanu, if they refuse to do the needful, then the needful will be done at the end of the day. Thank you.
Viewers, if you are still watching, click on the like button, drop your comment, and also share this program to others. Subscribe if you have not done so. God bless you and have a nice day.